We signed the lease. It's done. She's done. Done. Go home for the day. The lease is signed. We did it. And you guys ready for a boring video? This is going to be probably the most boring card shop life video. Actually, I think all the card shop life videos are boring, aren't they? I don't know, whatever, your face is boring. Alright, look. We're going to go over the lease now. For probably the next 10-15 minutes. The point is, we signed it. Everything's signed, sealed, and done. Next card shop life video you're going to see is we're going in the unit. We're going to show you what the unit looks like preliminary here at the beginning, before all the damage, before all the actual improvements by the landlord, between the paint and the floors and the actual roof and different tiles, blah blah blah, drop down ceiling, blah blah blah. So that's kind of what I wanted to touch on real quick. So I wanted to really point out to everybody, go ahead and sit down, pull over. I would go ahead and probably watch an adult video first, kind of relieve yourself and be relaxed, because it's going to be a boring 10-15 minutes talking about the lease, but I think it's very, very important for someone to actually go through and discuss the biggest pitfalls. I think when you think about deciding about opening a location, all you hear about is, oh my god, I'm going to have a card store, oh my god, I'm going to have a hobby store, oh my god, I'm flipping excited. It's important that we go over the boring shit. Let people know the rent things, the little fine print about rent increases, a CAM surcharge, a random, maybe what we call a one-time occurrence where they can hit every unit for a $1,000 fee. Little things that nobody ever knows about until you really rent something, until you do commercial property. So, let's go ahead and sit down. Let's do it. Alright, you guys ready? This is complete bullshit. I called Flippin' Sally at WPN. Wizards told me 4 hours a day of sunlight, 10 minutes of watering, and get more modern methods. Yes, they told me they would grow more. We still don't have any more. No restock, no nothing. I'm trying to get more for my patrons. No. So instead, we're going to play with this alien. No, I'm kidding. Instead, I guess we'll do it. You guys think it's real work? Alright, fine. Let's go over the damn lease. You guys want to know about... Alright. So as you guys know, 26 pages. Sign the lease. Alright. So the units go, it's official. Starting to build out, they're starting the whole thing. They are doing everything I agreed to. I signed the paperwork. I gave them the first month's deposit.
Your columns
First
are of
month's rent
similar
and the
strength.
deposit. Totally required for renting any commercial property. They verified my identity, made sure I'm not some crazy ass terrorist person, make sure I'm not insane, blah blah blah, make sure I'm not just gonna get out of jail, all that stuff. So, when any company gives you a commercial lease, there's a couple things that you really need to be cautious on, careful on. The first page is some basic things I want to go over. That was a box of kept out the sun.
Your form has fallen.
Alright, so whenever they give you anything, the very first thing, I know it sounds stupid, make sure they actually put the address of the unit on the lease. I've seen people sign contracts with the lease, and then they hand them the keys, the key doesn't work, and they literally sign a lease for a different unit. Swear to God. Hilarious. It's like an army of Timmies just laughing. It's like they must broadcast it live and people are tracking it. So, also need to be aware of, they call everybody lessor and lessees inside of leases. Keep that in mind. The lessor is usually the landlord. So moving forward in this video, we're going to call the landlord and the tenants, which would be me, doing the commercial property. So, the purpose of leases is they want to have some contractual agreement that you will actually not blow up the building, that you're not going to run a meth lab, that you're not going to do an illegal thing and do prostitution, or it also makes sure you're actually going to pay them in your legitimate purpose. That's the only purpose of doing all this stupid paperwork. It's just we live in a time where everything has to be so damn sensitive and flipping cautious, you know? So it becomes ridiculous. And then the issues that most people run into with leases and renting, or if you want to do a card store, the problem is that you're going to run into is when you have problems. Like with neighbors, or parking, or a repair, or air conditioning, or build out, or who pays for what. Hey, my toilet's not working. Do I pay for that, or do you pay for that? Hey, I got a water leak. Who pays for that? You're going to run into stupid, weird shit. And that's the purpose of these 26 pages. Whether you're trying to rent an office building, an office unit, just for yourself, you're trying to do a daycare, a restaurant, any form of anything. And so back to the card store. So again, usually the lease starts off basic. They have your full name information, their information, and what actual unit, specific legal address that you're renting. So for me, it's going to be literally San Jose Boulevard, Unit 7 in Duval County, Jacksonville, Florida. So again, I think everybody knows where it is by now. Again, this is kind of a public video, so So I want to make sure, okay, that's the correct unit, that's the correct location, good. So the very next thing they usually go over in a lease is who's responsible for what repairs. And that's where the most important section comes down to. And it says on here, very specifically, all work that's going to be done on the premises is pretty much up to me. Okay, I have to pay for it. Now at the beginning, besides the following things that we will outline, the landlord will pay for it. So in other words, and remember, some of the wording in this crap, they make it very wordy, very legal. Everything is just, the lessee decides that the premises is going to be under a certain amount of lessor plans and specific. They make stupid bullshit, you know, whatever. The point is, what I ended up doing is, for me, I added 4 things to this lease. Number 1, annual rent increases. Usually all commercial property, unlike residential property, have a standard 3 to 6% annual rent increase every year. So we decided to do a 48-month, 4-year lease to open this card store. So standard from this shopping center, the company does a standard 4% annual increase. So for me, my actual rent on this unit is $1,367.07 a month is the exact payment that I'm going to have auto set up out of my checking account. Now again, I usually don't recommend automatic payment to landlords because if anything happens, you really don't want them having your information, but for me in this particular scenario and who the people I'm working with, it's a special relationship. I kind of trust them. I'm not too worried about it. Okay? So keep that in mind. So $1,367 a month is my exact payment for all 48 months, the full 4 years in a row. There is no annual increase. The original lease they had presented to me had the standard 4% shopping center increase. So what that means for you all is year 1, the first 12 months, I paid the $1,367 a month. Year 2, 4% of $1,300 is approximately $54. So pretty much year 1 was $1,367 a month. Year 2 became like $1,415 a month. So it jumps about what, $55 a month? So year 2, you have an extra $55 a month over 12 months. That just slapped me in the balls for $700 in extra money for no reason, for nothing. Nothing's gonna change. Literally the 13th month of that calendar, when it rolls over from 12 months to 13, you now pay more money. It's stupid, I can't stand it, and almost in all circumstances, it can be negotiated away in the lease. And remember, you will almost never, ever be able to negotiate a lower actual base rent cost per square foot. Ever. Unless you know the person, unless you know the dude and you're sleeping with their daughter, actually even then they're probably going to charge you extra. You know, there's no way to get around. Commercial companies will never ever lower the cost of the rent. And the number one reason for it, I touched on this before, is because if they give you a special price break on the rent, the total cost, when the other units, you talk to them, or if anything happens with the other people renting other units around you find out, it becomes a shitstorm. And most landlords have been around the block long enough to know that it's just something that you don't want to engage in. So landlords are very firm on the price. That is one of the main reasons they will let strip centers sit empty, 20 empty units before lowering the price. So keep that in mind. So, anyways, back to the annual increase. That could mean also on year 3. Year 1, Rudy pays $1,367 on year 1. Year 2, I pay $1,420 a month. Then, it's not, then year 3, I have another 4%. And remember, this is compound interest, not basic. That means they don't add another 4%, which is not the $54. They now take the 4% from the already grown number. It is a compounded calculated interest. It is not simplified interest where it's just added equally along 48 months. It does not work that way. So that means on the year 2 increase of $55 a month, year 3, you don't get another $55 a month increase. It's going to be like $65 a month. So what happens is, you go from $1,367 a month to $1,420 a month, and now you're at the $1,480 a month? So by year 4, in the final 12 months of that 48-month lease, you're now going to be hitting the mid-$1,500. So when I was like, hey everybody, Timmy's Emporium here, I got this unit for $1,367.07. Isn't that great? And then all of a sudden, year 4, you're paying over $1,500 a month. Oh yeah, guess what? If you renew another 4 years, your renewal rate, and that 4%, resumes from the $1,500 a month. So if I stay an additional 4 years, which is not going to happen, that means if I was there for 8 to 10 years, my rent will eventually literally go to $1,600, $1,800 to $2,000 a month for the exact same unit. And I know everyone's going to go, Rudy, CPI, Consumer Price Index, cost of inflation, adjustment, blah, blah, blah. I understand. Property taxes go up every year. Appraisals, real estate is supposed to go up every year. Mortgage-backed securities. So I understand where it came from. I understand the premises behind it. So I wanted to point that out. So for me, this was negotiated completely away. So that was one of the reasons. So again, on page 4 of this thing, I have it very clearly said, for the first month's rent, $1,367, and you will have equal payments for all 48 months. So that is that for that page. And of course tells you where to send your rent and blah blah if you're going to mail it. So that's something I wanted to point out. That was a big deal because it saves $600 a month, and then, or I'm sorry, $600 a month. It saves $650 to $700 a year for 3 years. Right there alone, I saved probably about $2,500, maybe even up to $3,000, depending on how they calculate it. That's almost $3,000 just in my pocket, just because of negotiation. It's a big flipping deal. So the next thing, if for some reason you guys open a card store and you have financial problems, remember usually you have a 5 or 10 day leeway before they hit with you late fee. I'm not going to focus much on that. Usually, for this particular lease, I have 10 days before I get charged the late fees, which is usually like $50 or $100. They compound it with interest, it's okay, blah, blah, blah. Don't really care about that. That's not really going to be a concern. Other thing they put on here is type of business. Obviously, they put on here, obviously don't copy the people around you. Don't open a church. Don't do illegal things. Don't, sell drugs. Don't make a meth lab. Don't, broadcast, pornography.
Enemy slain.
Anyway, so just a basic thing like that. So, anyways, they even put on here, if I want to renew the lease after 4 years, I do have the option to renew at the same price, plus 1.75% increase per year. So they removed the 4% and they dropped it to 1.75 if I wanted to stay past my 4 years. Probably not going to happen. I already told you I have other plans past 4 years, because we all get one shot in this world, got to make the best of it. So I wanted to at least let everybody know how that works. The next very interesting thing on here, we're going to go into cam charts, common area maintenance. Every shopping center has cam charges. Some places will label it differently. Cam charges are pretty much a nice legal way of saying when they cut the grass out front, when they mulch the flower bed, when they pay for the street lights in your parking lot, when they restripe the parking lot, anything that requires maintenance, pressure wash the parking lot, anything basic, that's where the cam charges are supposed to come out of. Now the thing you have to be very, very careful on is what they call like a surcharge or a one-time cost. Where let's say you're in a commercial complex and there's a part in here saying you can have a special assessment with no cap. That kind of thing. In other words, let's say the landlord decides to repave the parking lot and it costs the landlord 20 grand or 50 grand. They can divide up that cost between all 20 or 30 units and bill everybody $3,000 a person, and you have to pay it, or you pretty much break your lease and then they can, hit you with a judgment and evict you. So those are very dangerous things. Fine print loopholes, and what we call one-time surplus or one-time expenses, one-time kind of these random things that they can really hit you with that you may not see coming. So that's very important to go over. I know this is so exciting. You guys, half of you guys are probably already done playing with yourself. The other half are just like, Rudy, keep going. Come on, baby. Do this shit. So that's really about it on there. It goes into details of what a common area is. Parking lot, sidewalks out front, You know, you're not allowed to paint on the road, and you're not allowed to take up the entire parking lot. You know, you're not allowed to pretty much put signs on the road unless they approve it. Basic things like that. And of course, next we're going to go into the basic thing of, you know, when you put a sign over your unit, and also the sign on the main pylon on the main road. Remember, you usually got to get the dimensions of it, go to a company, have a logo, have something designed. Before you're allowed to do it, the landlord must approve it. Usually for me, because I have that pre-built, pre-lit sign, that was one thing I really like. So all I have to do is go and get a like 2 foot by 15 foot actual like vinyl decal design, and then literally for maybe what, 500 bucks, and then have them come out and stick it up there. And I already have a pre-lit blank sign in place. So for me, it's not going to cost very much. For example, the restaurant business that we're also a part of, that sign costs like $10,000 to have custom designed each letter, to have a transformer, to have it lifted by crane, put on the building, and then of course have it lit up, have a timer so it lights up at night, turns off during the day, and of course emits the is accurate to the shopping center's specifications, colors, size, and the placement on the building. That can be very, very expensive if you're going to take that route. This was one of the reasons I did not want to do that, and I really liked the fact that there was a pre-done template on this particular unit. So immediately, if there was nothing there, and I had to actually have a full-blown sign built for the building and have hung up, it probably would have cost around $5 to $8 grand, depending on the size of the lettering, the number of letters, the fonts, the symbols, and how many colors were used, and whether I wanted on the timer or lit up at night. A lot of shopping centers will require you to light up your sign to your card shop at night. My particular location, no requirement, don't care. Again, all about the cost. You need to go into a business assuming the worst and hoping the best. You must go into it. And again, a lot of people, remember, I don't want everybody, when you watch this setup and how I'm doing this, be very careful duplicating this, what I'm doing, to yourself. Because remember, I am using pretty much my online presence to fund, expand, and use for this location. Okay, this additional location is being used because I already have a lot of things in place. Where if you're starting a new business, remember that. So for me, I'm not incurring the amount of risk that most of you watching would if you're starting from scratch and you need that local walk-in traffic. You need to advertise. You need that marketing. You need to hire people. I'm not doing any of that. I'm not going to advertise. I'm not going to take out ads. I'm not going to put a hot chick who's naked on the street in a bikini shaking a sign.
Your core is under attack.
Maybe. We'll come back. Okay. So, the thing is, that's something I want to be very clear with everybody. Most people will have to hire and go through all these different things that I'm not going into. And remember, if you hire, if it's over, what, 5 or 10 people, then you run into different things with different escrow accounts, taxes, the Obamacare, the different unemployment compensation. You run into different workers' comp. You run into different hurdles when you hire and you have a payroll of so many people. So, moving on. Oh, allergies. Sorry, I'm outside. I have terrible allergies in Florida. Other thing, you're required to have business insurance whenever you open any brick and mortar. Say the whole building blows up, catches on fire, burns down, whatever it may be. Usually it's like something small. It's like maybe $20, $30 a month or $500 a year, where they cover if the whole place blows up. You know, you're covered for so many hundreds of thousands on your inventory. Make sure you have pictures and videos, which obviously won't be a problem. So that's something that most places will require. Most stores do it, some don't. It just depends on what you're doing. For me, I'm not going to have a lot of expensive, super high dollar things in this unit because it's a public location, YouTube. Some of you all out there are completely insane. So again, we're going to have product and things there, but again, it's going to be very limited. I'm going to put, you know, boxes and things in Pokemon, and everything will be full blown, but we're not going to put the high end, you know, 10,000 boxes of cons of Tarkir sitting in the corner. We're not going to do that. So obviously, moving forward, last thing on here, remember, like security deposit. You have to, before they even give you the keys, everything's signed, sealed, and done. You always have to pay that first month's rent and security deposit. Security deposit is usually equal to your first month's rent. And for me, it was like $2,700 for security deposit and first month's rent. Usually, golden rule, you cannot expect to ever get your full security deposit back, no matter what anyone tells you, no matter what anyone says. Even if you leave on good terms, they're going to keep a chunk of it for cleaning or any little dent, or tear, scratch, anything. If there's, you know, if there's a bikini hanging from the roof, if Timmy's in the attic, whatever it is, I don't care. They're going to have any excuse they can to keep some of your deposit. A lot of people do shady things, like they'll pay all the 47 months worth of the lease, and they won't pay the last month, but they'll keep the deposit. rent an office unit or an office building. A lot of places will actually cover your water and sewage. Now, retail shopping centers do not. You have to pay water, sewage, and electricity, and the hookup charge, usually 50 bucks. And if you're new, you don't have a history, you're going to have to pay a large deposit because the utility company is not going to trust you. So keep that in mind. That is really about it on here. We've just hit like 15 pages of the release summarized. The next thing I want to go into is... how long is this video? Are you guys even still with me? Let me check. I feel like you guys are like asleep at this point. Have I been like rambling for like 4 hours? Oh no, we're only at like 19 minutes. I thought you guys were sleeping. Again, sorry about the Jets and Navy and all this stuff. Remember, we're right next to the Navy base. Fly Navy people, NAS and Mayport in Jacksonville, Florida. Remember that. So again, you're always going to hear planes and things, so it might affect some of the filming. So next thing, I did full-blown negotiate and make them add an entire section about HVAC, heating and air conditioning. Florida, we don't give a shit about heat. I don't even run it. Air conditioning, it's like 5 helicopters. Really, guy, what are you guys trying to like train together? Anyway, so for air conditioning, it's a huge deal. On a 1,500 square foot unit, if your AC, if your compressor, if your evaporator goes out, you're going to be looking at a full-blown system. You can be looking at up to $6-7 grand for something that big. Oh my God, come on, there's like 20 planes going by. So, anyways, I made them, they were very hesitant on doing this. This was probably the longest holding up point was the